And they really do need these points. As you said, it's not just making it to Super Regionals, but if you're 7th or 8th, then you won't even be in the Pro League next year. You'd be relegated out. So they need to be able to hold on to that spot they have right now, and we'll see if they can get that started in picks and bans.
As we head into here, I'm expecting maybe even a Ratatoskr ban from Vigilant. The way Scream has just been performing on this god is just almost next level. And keep in mind, Ratatoskr used to have a larger AoE radius on that ultimate.
And it feels like it only took a small bump to get Ratatoskr back to the point where he was being played and being really effective in these matches. I think maybe we might have been sleep on him just a little bit.
It could be the case. Honestly, eUnited loves to experiment. They like to bring things a little bit unconventional. We actually saw Scream when his name was Verizial way back in Season 3. He would play the Arachne jungle every now and then. He would go Blink and Sunder, just being an absolute annoying jungler. So the fact that he's playing this Ratatoskr without the Blink or the Sunder, he's still making the plays happen.
And you're right, they do ban out Ratatoskr. They agreed that that pressure was just too much to deal with. So it's banned away, but that does leave Chulainn available for eUnited to first pick.
It's not a bad idea. Benji, he was just an absolute monster in the soul lane.
Oh, yeah.
It was MandoWarrior baiting Benji, then Benji counter-baiting MandoWarrior with Scream right behind. And I'm expecting a lot more fireworks in the soul lane.
Yeah, that was a rough one for MandoWarrior. Not just that it was a hard matchup, but that he fell earlier really kind of let things go off the rails for him. But Soul and Osiris picked up for Vigilant here so far. So Soul, a little bit of flex pick, same with Osiris.
It could be a good option for the Osiris to go into the jungle, but Serket gets locked in.
There we go.
And that could be a strategy where we see Mirage trying to lean onto Benji, maybe even finding some kills onto PBM's Terra. If they can find the pick onto PBM before the Terra's Blessing, the rest of the team fight should go Vigilant's way.
And I like what eUnited have here with the knockup from Chulainn, the big slow that comes out from Terra. Definitely synergizes well with Hui. They got a lot of AoE control that could be real impactful around like Gold Furies or early objectives.
That's why Vigilance ban away this Willish here. The setup is already there for eUnited. Sobek is not on the table potentially because Chulainn could have been played here by Scream, but knowing Benji, he likes to play aggressive. That's definitely going to go to him there. Aphrodite, though, getting locked in. eUnited spicing things up.
Spicy indeed, totally. Aphrodite brings crazy amounts of sustain, something Camazotz is not unfamiliar with either, and she's someone that can also be ganked a lot because it looks like Aphrodite is going to be their mid laner, so maybe you take high pressure Camazotz afterwards to keep her safe.
And the way Venenu played Chronos in the first game, it's not surprising to me actually that he went for this defensive option. If you're going to build defensively with a burst mage, you're going to play defensive mages, and Aphrodite paired with the Camazotz allows Camazotz to do more aggressive things, dive the backline freely, get the heals off, and then even help Aphrodite confirm that back off.
It's definitely confidence that's going to be coming out from Venenu and the rest of eUnited, as Vigilant had already selected the Serket when they pick up Aphrodite, and Serket can be a real difficult matchup for someone who's not as mobile as Aphrodite to try and fight into, so that's confidence.
Even though the Serket can stop the healing from Aphrodite and whoever she's linked to, the ultimate will stop all damage, so that's a good enough defensive mechanism for eUnited trying to shut down Mirage, similar way they did in game number 1.
That'll be a delicate balance for them. How well does Venenu time those ultimates for Aphrodite? Is it when there's pressure from Mirage on him in the jungle, or can maybe Akillathehun and MandoWarrior try and help force that out a little bit earlier? So if they can, then Mirage will have an easier time.
Switching things up with his itemization, rushing Book of Thoth, whereas last game he was going for Book of Dead. Obviously, there's no natural lifesteal onto Aphrodite, so you're really looking forward to being able to be spam bot-ish kind of oriented. You're trying to spam the heals, you're really trying to get the back off whenever Scream is going to be diving that back line. So Book of Thoth giving you the mana you really need.
So the Book of Thoth gives you mana and the power, so that you got more effective heals as well. So looking for those heals to be impactful early on in the game is Venenu. Already some boxing match happening as Vigilant want to try and come into the jungle of eUnited a little bit, but Benji and Scream doing good damage on the MandoWarrior. He'll have to back up and rethink it.
It's not a good idea here for MandoWarrior to still stick around, taking a lot more damage than he probably wanted to, sitting at 25%, whereas Mirage, a little over 300 health here. This is not a good start for Vigilant's solo jungle combination, and as a result, they're probably going to get invaded here, but not until Vigilant stole away the speed from eUnited first.
That's right. Akillathehun and PainDeViande were freed up with their mid pressure to rotate in and take away that speed buff. So we see it on on DayToRemeber, who is helping out a little bit there. They've got that around their waist now, or rather DayToRemeber does. So that's a little bit more that's been lost by Vigilant, or by eUnited.
It seems that Benji and Scream had a little bit of a different communication there. Benji wanted to get his own blue. Scream was thinking about invading the blue, but losing a wave under his own tower there. The mindset was to strip away the buffs, give up the wave there, making sure that the mobility is still available for Scream, whereas Benji gets the blue buff for a little bit more health sustain because of the way the passive works for Chulainn.
And that's because DayToRemeber started here in the mid lane to help give them that extra pressure, and they were able to exert it on that speed buff in the jungle. Instead, we see PainDeViande actually over in the duo lane going up against PandaCat, who's going to be enjoying this free farm that he's going to have for him. So that could be a big problem.
When Get was first introduced into Smite, a lot of players experimented around with him. Like, is he a natural support or can he be running the solo lane? And for a little bit of time, he was successful in the solo lane, not on the SPL level, but in some casual games. And this is an interesting matchup for PainDeViande because PandaCat's going to be looking to abuse his former support player.
MandoWarrior and Mirage got the pressure in the solo lane, but there's nothing left up on the map for him to do. So instead, hanging around the jungle, trying to see if Benji will come out a little bit too far and maybe set something up, as the eUnited look to be able to take those oracles no problem.
I love what PBM and PandaCat just did there, using those the walls to set up the triple bounce there. Now, that was demonstrated on just the oracles. Imagine an enemy god in between those walls. Not even for the stun, but just for the triple bounce.
They'd get deleted totally. It'd be a lot of damage, and it's something that we've seen get set up here, especially between someone like PolarBearMike and PandaCat, who've been playing together for a while now, who we know are real high-level players. It's not something that I'd be surprised to see from them at all.
It's been more common to see that kind of a combo with a Ymir wall, because it's more straightforward, obviously, but the way the walls can be positioned, there could be some angles that PandaCat can look to throw out that ricochet. Benji getting those elementals for his side. eUnited doing a little bit of a slower start compared to the last game. You know, they're only up about 300 gold.
Yeah, only totally. Not quite the 3K they had or so last game at this same mark. But eUnited, they know how important these points are for them, so playing a little bit slower, making sure that they get to the point where Aphrodite can come online, Yi can come online, is what's going to be their win condition.
That's true. They weren't expecting to get an early game lead in the second one because of Venenu playing this Aphrodite. Because of that kind of start, they got out-pressured in the mid lane. They lost their early speed buff. Scream had to make some adaptations alongside Benji, losing their own speed in blue, but finding a return invade on the flip side.
Benji needs to come over here. MandoWarrior and Mirage are both here ready for the speed buff. Scream takes a lot of poke, but it's okay when you've got an Aphrodite linked up to you, and there come out those birds to help him get healed up. Benji's here as well, and MandoWarrior will get zoned away.
He's trying to find the steal, not able to find it through the wall. Mirage, a little hesitant there, but PainDeViande taking a lot of damage. PandaCat first blooding his former support.
And there was nothing DayToRemeber could do to help out in that situation. You might think he was just standing around watching, but he couldn't go into those suns. He couldn't step up any further. Instead, an easy first blood goes the way of the right player onto PandaCat.
PandaCat feeling himself a little bit too much. He tried to line up that ricochet off the tower with the bounces. A little too fancy there, gets poked out for his trouble, even forcing the shell out of PBM.
And that was the big burst damage from the ultimate from DayToRemeber too that caused PandaCat to have to step back. So he'll go back to base. He still hasn't bought his first item, so he might be able to go back and get started right away with Devil Gloves, or just choose to go with those boots.
Now, last game, the reason why he finished off Devil Gloves was because he had 2,300 gold upon his first back. This time around, actually, he still backed and had just enough gold to finish the Devil Gloves. I thought that he was under that threshold so that he would probably look for completing the boots, but luckily for him, his farming efficiency has been so on point simply because
and first blood.
The first blood certainly helping him out there.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I think he would have been right, and DayToRemeber would have forced him back at the perfect time if it just hadn't been for that kill he got onto PainDeViande. So now he can start to build a little bit of a lead for himself on top of DayToRemeber in that long lane, which is something that they're going to look for to try and keep this AMC, who we know can be a late-game powerhouse, or even mid-game powerhouse, down as long as they can.
And considering a lot of Musin Cobbs like to play aggressive, trying to hit the wave and the enemy god at the same time, that Devil Glove Rush is going to be so impactful for PandaCat to kind of stalemate a little bit until he gets levels.
Good chunks coming out of DayToRemeber. The sun's rained down, and PainDeViande is already deleted off the map. That Geb is not tanky just yet.
I blinked once, and then PainDeViande's health was less than half health. Just just like this. All of eUnited. This is a call that PainDeViande would normally do for his team, but instead it's eUnited making the objective calls happen.
Totally, did they not know, or did they just think they couldn't contest? There was no one from Vigilant who was even around. Good kill into PainDeViande, sets up the Gold Fury, and there's that gold lead you were looking for as eUnited jump up 2K in the lead off the back of a strong gank.
You were asking what it was, whether they didn't know or whether they thought they couldn't contest. I think it's a combination of both, because there was no vision, so they might have assumed that they were on the gold, and then they thought, like, all right, if they're not on the gold, they might be even baiting us just to turn the corner of checking if they're on the gold. So they'd rather play safe than sorry and look for more guaranteed farm.
And also, the Oracles had just spawned, I think, at that time, too. So it could have just looked like a rotation of Vigilant just to get the Oracles after taking Pain. They think, well, let's just give those up, no big deal. Instead, the Gold Fury gets taken, and that's a big lead. Gold Fury not worth as much 6 minutes into the game, but it's definitely something you don't want to give up for free.
There's a few factors that determines whether or not you can successfully take the Gold Fury early game before the enemy contest. You're looking at minions to tank the Gold Fury for you, or you're looking for sustain from your own team. And luckily for United, having Venenu play this Aphrodite, you can have 4 members early game sitting around levels 6 through 8 to do this Gold Fury, rely on that sustain, and guarantee it.
And this is what we were talking about, too. This is going to help PandaCat get further ahead of DayToRemeber. Going to help Venenu get closer to that late game we were talking about where Aphrodite is just healing way too much and still providing actually decent damage. And they don't have traditional mid laners, so they're missing big AoE damage. Actually not. PandaCat with the Hu Yi makes up for that with those Suns.
There's going to be just so much control on the side of the United, similar to game number 1 here. Benji double knocking up on the right-hand side, going to force out MandoWarrior and Mirage onto this tier 1 tower, and this play from Benji just puts him in the rage mechanic just to allow Scream to maybe invade this blue buff.
That is what he's looking to do. Benji zoning away MandoWarrior, gets the Mez off. They at least take away one of those small minions as 4 members of Vigilant rotate over to slow down this aggression. Cataclysm comes out, beads is enough to get away from that, and the slow from Akillathehun. Scream now looking to turn his attention on the MandoWarrior, but PainDeViande's close enough to set up some good damage from Mirage, who pushes him into the tower and gets the first kill for Vigilant.
Knock-up was so important from PainDeViande to set up the follow-up damage from Mirage. Without his beads, Scream was an early guaranteed victim. He didn't get his ultimate off in time. Too ambitious, too aggressive is Scream.
At least PandaCat, though, recognized the strong aggression from Vigilant on the right-hand side and takes away the red buff from his opposing duo laner. So that's one more advantage he's going to be able to get up over DayToRemeber, who we're kind of keeping our eyes on here. Still hasn't been able to finish off those Devo gloves.
Good little stun from Venenu, but the Disapray going to absorb a lot of those birds thrown onto Soul in the mid lane. PandaCat on the left, though, still trying to be a little bit of a bully with this 1-level lead over DayToRemeber, finishing off the Devo gloves. He's almost finished off stacking.
That was a perfect layering of the CC there for PolarBearMike and Venenu. Akillathehun gets very low. It was the walls into the stun, into the birds, and then he actually crashed through again. So just a good job in that mid lane fight.
Just a lot of damage there. A lot of damage over time, rather, between PBM crashing through that monolith,
and it was
changing the healing over time to that minefield damage over time, and then obviously the birds connecting from Venenu. The heal from Akillathehun with him dropping the heat was just barely enough to keep him topped off.
DayToRemeber needs to look out. Scream is here, and Scream does get that slow off. It's enough to force out the beads from DayToRemeber. That's already a victory for United. Those won't be available for DayToRemeber for another 150 seconds.
And considering he's playing the Muzenkob, he doesn't have a natural escape.
That's
that
right.
Beads is the only key to success for him to survive. A little bit of a lazy back from Venenu, but he's going to get away safely.
Venenu, okay, but that's actually a big signal, I think, to PandaCat. He's probably already going to be a bit ahead in that boxing match, so he can look to go very aggressive, knowing that even a stun, DayToRemeber won't be able to get away from.
As you were talking about PandaCat being aggressive, even willing to dive bomb against PainDeViande just to stop his back and probably send him a little bit of a signal.
Hey, stopping the back's a big deal. I mean, sometimes, that's all you want to do is you step up, you'll take some minion wave damage just to slow down their back.
Honestly, that could be also a little bit of a bait tactic. There's a lot of situations in duo lane, solo lane, 1v1s where a lot of teams not respecting the other will try to stop the quote-unquote lazy back and could be easily turned around.
Mirage rotating into this mid lane because PandaCat's over here. Venenu, though, is here to help everybody stay healed up. And now it's Screammmmm who's able to come in on that backside with Mirage behind him. Mirage does try and get some damage off onto him. It's actually a good bit of damage. PainDeViande shield keeps Mirage healthy as PolarBearMike and Venenu rotated into the back. Good stun onto Akillathehun, though, and he's deleted.
It's all a bait. DayToRemeber's here, but he's going to get deleted too. He came in the wrong angle. He came underneath, and all of eUnited shifting their attention to DayToRemeber, two dead members from Vigilant. Benji was thinking about diving that tier 2 tower. MandoWarrior going to get zoned and bullied away. eUnited, huge 2 kills, and look at this timing. The gold here respawning. Vigilant nowhere near.
It's not happening by accident until the eUnited force a fight in mid lane right when the Gold Fury comes back up. Get 2 picks, come back over, get that Gold Fury. Now they're up about 4,000 or so gold in their favor. The experience lead looking pretty substantial as well. But what a play in the mid lane by PandaCat, stunning out Akillathehun, and DayToRemeber just taking a bad path.
The Suns also providing the slow. I don't think the beads was available for Akillathehun. Benji not able to steal away that speed buff. He's using the sprint, avoids the knockup. He gets hit by the Stellar Burst, still trying to survive. Supernova being used, Shell being popped. Benji, he's getting away.
Benji avoided all the damage from the Supernova, just hiding in a little bit of a nugget of safety. Scream now chasing down Akillathehun, and there's actually the blanket for PainDeViande, get the Cataclysm off, and Mirage able to clean up Benji. Venenu getting slowed out. Aegis has to come out as well. No ultimate available behind 3 red jerseys.
The jukes from Venenu are just so good here. We see another kill onto MandoWarrior. Great performance from the mid-mage. PainDeViande in a lot of trouble. Scream goes to the sky, connects onto the first one, misses the second. The dash is coming through. Mirage is trying to catch out Scream. He will find him with a killer.
Pain jukes around long enough for Akillathehun to come up and clean up Scream. But wow, that damage from Venenu, I believe it was off of the link that he had on to Scream in the middle of that, able to use the knockback to get a bunch of damage. So we're seeing Venenu play this Aphrodite to a high level.
The way this whole started off was just the over-aggression from Benji, trying to invade that speed buff. This is what makes Benji such a great soul laner, and at the same time a very scary, like, volatile soul laner that you never can predict what he's going to do. He can put his team in a bad situation just like he did there. He took an early spill and he got chased down by Mirage all the way through, and the rest of eUnited trying to find what they can. The sustain from Venenu provided him enough of a life to find at least 1 return kill, but it wasn't enough until Scream took the second spill.
And that was, again, Benji just playing a little bit too aggressive, recognizing that they have a lead, though, and trying to use it on the map, trying to force Vigilant to a fight, trying to steal away some buffs if he could. The knockup was well-timed, but just didn't quite have enough follow-up damage to steal the objective. Now they're just going to settle for their own speed buff, as once again, Benji's got some aggressive positioning, and there are PainDeViande and MandoWarrior around.
eUnited, they just need to play a little bit closer. I don't mind that play necessarily from Benji if eUnited was slightly closer to his positioning. They got there as soon as they could. We saw the juking and the weaving, the sprint from Benji bought enough time from the shell from PolarBearMike to buy him some more time, but it just wasn't enough. But now eUnited, they're not deterred from that failure of the last engagement. They're still going to try something around their jungle of Vigilant.
And Vigilant still have the bright spot, a Mirage on that Serket for them. Not only Serket strong in the early game, she's still very strong in the late game too. Is a little bit ahead of Scream with that 2-0-1 slash line. So they could look to play around this Serket and keep Venenu down.
And they could still play around this Portal Demon as well, trying to force something to happen here. They're really Vigilant's relying on the initiation from PainDeViande. The Blink Cataclysm is do or die. If that is not perfect for Vigilant, then I think the team fights are going to go heavily in eUnited's favor.
Blink Cataclysm, I think that's a good part of what we saw happen with Energy the other day when they dropped their game. So when Geb's able to have a big impact, it really does set up the rest of the team, burning out beads or getting some crowd control out, and you still have your crowd control available. Akillathehun, though, under a lot of trouble. Geb's shield does come out, but he holds onto his beads, so that's a good play.
Ooh, PMM spots the rotation from Vigilant, but it's already done. The damage from Scream, stealing away the speed buff. A lot safer than the last time that Benji tried.
Yeah, he's still alive. So it worked out a whole lot better. MandoWarrior, once again, though, having a rough time over here in the solo lane. Scream able to force him back easily. Switching
from an Artio Guardian to the Osiris Warrior, still not able to make the impact for his team. It's just too much pressure from eUnited that MandoWarrior can't necessarily adapt around.
And we see him building into what looks like to be the Pestilence, as already the Portal Demon is down under half health. Akillathehun's here, though, and he does have the Supernova available. He drops over the top, but it's not enough. eUnited secure the objective. Now Benji and Scream in position to clean up the kill. Knocked up. Aegis, though, is enough to keep him alive, but not for long. Venenu ends up getting credit for that kill. MandoWarrior now has to back away from 3 members strong of eUnited.
That's why Terra's still a hot commodity. That mobility from the Terra's Blessing, chasing down Akillathehun despite the disapparate form, increasing the mobility of the soul, it just wasn't enough. But look at this. DayToRemeber respecting the fact that he couldn't really make that same rotation that PandaCat did, so he's going to try to get this tier 1 tower on the left, and if PandaCat doesn't rotate, Musikov will stay for the tier 2 more than likely.
And he was free to get that tier 1 tower. PandaCat does eventually come over to at least clean up the minions, and Vigilant defend the tier 1 tower in mid, so getting something back after losing the engagement were Vigilant, but now eUnited are once again at that Gold Fury right on cooldown, but Vigilant are here this time as well.
They needed to make something happen, and we see PainDeViande with Blink available. Cataclysm is available to follow. This is the play that they need, but I think eUnited, they're not going to put pressure on this Gold Fury quite yet. Scream needs to back. He has a lot of gold in hand probably, and no mana to play with.
Venenu on this Aphrodite is going to be a big impact for them in the late game. MandoWarrior agrees. It looks like he's trying to build into the Pestilence, which is good magic defense. Can also slow down the build. But PandaCat going all in on the Gold Fury once again. Vigilant don't know what's happening. They couldn't rotate in. Gold Fury goes down for free in favor of eUnited.
And I think that Vigilant actually had a ward on the Gold Fury, but it was just a little bit too far north. PandaCat was at the south tip of the Gold Fury ring. No one from Vigilant saw or heard what was happening.
Now PandaCat got another free objective in favor of eUnited, and the lead continues to grow for him. A little slower than it was last game, as 2 minutes from now they were surrendering at the end of the last game. Vigilant's still in this one, but it's starting to get to the point now where if they lose another team fight,
in the mid lane, Scream blinking into tier 2 tower. He's going to use that ultimate to pick off Akillathehun. PainDeViande, he used his shield earlier on to avoid that Terra, but on the right-hand side, Mirage makes a nice gank, picking off Benji.
And that's what you got to do when there's aggression somewhere else on the map. Recognize where you have your man advantage. That's what MandoWarrior and Mirage do, trying to make this a tier 1 tower as they continue to push in mid and they continue to push in the solo lane side. Scream, though, once again stealing away the speed buff from Vigilant. That's been a big point for him.
But now PandaCat's made the rotation in mid. The race is on. eUnited is going to get this tier 2 well before Vigilant will even step foot on the right side.
And now we're seeing them give up on it too. Mirage choosing to back. MandoWarrior choosing to walk in to try and have an impact on the engagement, but it's all too late. Tier 2 tower does eventually fall to Venenu, and they're looking to rotate on the Pan, but DayToRemeber as well. The stun comes out, it's good. Now the ultimate from Terra's Blessing keeps him moving, but the shield from Pain's enough to just barely save his life.
Oh my goodness, even forcing the Aegis from DayToRemeber. I was about to say, like, PandaCat, do your job, demolish that tower, but he had other intentions. He saw that DayToRemeber was around the corner, or at least had a sneaking suspicion, and eUnited wanted to transition their tier 2 tower siege into the left-hand side. Getting these relics away from DayToRemeber with the Aegis is going to allow them to remain aggressive on the left.
Now they're going to push into this tier 2 tower, but take a look at what DayToRemeber just bought. It looks like he's tired of getting targeted out totally and taking lots of damage. He might still be trying to go into that late height of the Urchin as PainDeViande blinks in and Cataclysms too.
And PBM's going to be able to dash away through his own wall. Monolith being used. The ultimate from Mirage going to try to keep him in place. Stellar Burst doing what it can along the Supernova, but here comes the heals from Venenu. Vigilant not giving up the chase.
No, it's Mirage who definitely still wants to get a little bit more here. Good damage from Akillathehun. MandoWarrior with the Thorn sticking is trying to take down Venenu, who's getting away, but Scream getting damage through multiple members of Vigilant, doing a good job turning this fight back around. Venenu does escape, but DayToRemeber cleans up Scream.
The ultimate from PandaCat zoning away Vigilant for as long as they can, but this is the problem. Benji's now here. He's trying to dive the backline. MandoWarrior in a little bit of trouble. He's going to have to use the shell.
He does force Vigilant to completely spread out. Akillathehun takes the right side, as well as the other 4 members go left, and now it's the rest of eUnited who are looking to push, knowing that Vigilant have to back. They've got a chance here, I think, to take this tier 2 if those backs go through.
They're not going to be able to defend this tier 2 tower. It's already at half health. PainDeViande's here, but he doesn't have Blink. He doesn't have Cataclysm. Benji's going to try to do what he can by absorbing the tower aggro. The rest of eUnited trying to find a kill. The stun is good. PainDeViande using the shield on himself. Tier 2 finally falling.
They got what they wanted. Mirage is looking to rotate it on the back, though, and then Benji is low. Venenu's here as well, so Mirage could have an impact here. The onto Venenu. The leap, though, he's choosing to actually go for Benji.
Because of the Mad Guy's blessing onto Venenu, you'll never find a kill onto this Aphrodite. You're not going to be able to, so you might as well try to shift your attention elsewhere. Somebody else needs to proc that Mad Guy's blessing bubble before Mirage commits that Circuit Poison Taunt.
And they've got some options for it too, so they Vigilant need to make sure that's a point of focus for them to try and shut down Venenu on this Aphrodite. But everyone from eUnited gets out on the back end of that fight. They do take the tier 2 tower. The one in mid already fall, the one in left, as now PolarBearMike is getting locked down and surrounded by 4 members. Gets the slow off though, and now Terra's blessing comes out and the Supernova comes in response. Mirage looking to jump in aggressively, but turns tail when he sees Benji coming in.
Vigilant committed 3 ultimates onto PBM, and he's still sitting at half health regardless. Now eUnited, they're the ones that are going to try to chase Vigilant away from this Portal Demon Fire Giant.
And those are 3 big team fighting ultimates. PainDeViande sells Cataclysm, which I think is probably their most important, but only DayToRemeber sitting on top of that Stinger still, as PandaCat continuing to play aggressive into the level 14 MandoWarrior.
Just not able to really farm efficiently. The speeds in the blue was contested by eUnited throughout a majority of this entire game. And that's just so painful for a solo laner to have to deal with. That's why Benji has such a comfortable 4-level lead.
Portal Demon's looking comfortable for eUnited as Benji continues to zone out. It feels like the whole team of Vigilant. He knows that with that level 18 form, he's able to box out multiple members. Excuse me, Mirage has to just back on out.
Over 10,000 gold lead from eUnited. They're just not taking their foot off of this gas pedal. Vigilant have no responses or answers. None of the objectives went in the way of Vigilant. They couldn't even attempt them because of how early eUnited were forcing them.
And eUnited now sitting up about 11,000 gold. 7 to 5 are the kills. So despite how close those kills are, the objectives, the camps, all of that has gone so heavily in favor of eUnited. And them taking 2 tier 2 towers off the map doesn't hurt as they pick up yet another Gold Fury.
Their 4th one of the game. They already found the first victory very early on. I think it was around a 20 to 22 minute surrender from Vigilant, not able to really make a statement. In the second game, it's not looking any cleaner from them.
Vigilant looking to go into a lot of late game high to the Urchins that could delay their power spike. We do see the Divine Ruin come out from Akillathehun. 9 item you want to have to build, but you got to try and slow down that Aphrodite any way you can.
Benji just kind of toying with his foot, honestly. MandoWarrior cannot get off any good damage onto Benji whatsoever. Just a lot of fake damage coming out of the Chulainn.
PainDeViande's here to try and help out, put the shield out onto Benji as well. But as you said, Benji not under any duress, now backing in the face of MandoWarrior and PainDeViande, exerting his dominance over there in the solo lane, and he's laughing all the way to the bank. eUnited, though, are going to be looking, as they are now, to try and establish some vision over this Fire Giant. They're ready for that late game objective.
With this 12,000 gold lead, it's about damn time, honestly. They have the lead that they need. They can easily force these team fights between the double sustain from Venenu and PBM with the Monolith, and the amount of control that they have between the Suns and then the Monolith slow, Scream and Benji diving the backline. Vigilant can't really find a response because the PainDeViande Blink Cataclysms, where's the peel coming from Vigilant? And Osiris?
Yeah, they really don't have anyone to help out those backliners. In fact, PainDeViande might need a little bit of help himself as PolarBearMike, PandaCat, and Benji look to chase him down. He's still alive, though. The Cataclysm comes out, and that's not how they want to use that one. PandaCat cleans up the first kill of the fight, and they're looking for more.
PandaCat sitting pretty at 4-0-2. I think that was the second kill onto PainDeViande. MandoWarrior forced to use that ultimate defensively just to escape. Benji zoning away DayToRemeber. The rest of eUnited now going to start up this Fire Giant.
PandaCat happy to take the Fire Giant even by himself, while the rest of his team continues to strip away that speed buff from Mirage, who I'm sure would have liked to have it despite the great game he's been having so far. Vigilant going to have to try and do something here because they won't be able to stop the Fire Giant. They're going to have to fight the Fire Giant team.
A little bit slower than the last game, but now tier 2 tower Benji and Scream doing what they do best, diving the backline, killing Akillathehun. Not done yet. Now trying to go into this right side Phoenix. Mirage taking a lot of damage. The shield from PainDeViande buying him some time.
MandoWarrior looped around the back, but he wasn't able to find anything. And look at that sustain from Venenu. I'm pretty sure Scream took some damage, but it's hard to tell. MandoWarrior, though, he's about to get blown up, and he gets taken taken off the map.
Absolutely.
And Benji look to keep pushing further into the base as the Phoenix continues to take damage.
The Sun zoning away Vigilant. The right side Phoenix is about to fall down as well. Benji zoning away 3 from Vigilant. They're going straight for the Titan. They have no time to dilly-dally around the mid.
They recognize that they can end. Benji is the one that's taking in the damage. Mirage goes to the back onto PandaCat. Look at that turn and burn. They force Mirage to back off right away. Half health now is the Titan. They're juggling the aggro to try and make sure that none of their carries are taking too much of it. Only 3 members. Pain actually goes in for the Cataclysm. Sets up good return damage on the PDM, but not enough. eUnited take the set 2-0.
PBM with a perfect stat line, 0-0 and 10. No chance he was going to fall in that last encounter. Totally calculated. And with that second victory for eUnited, they now sit pretty with 18 points. They're sitting at 6-0-0, remaining undefeated.
And that puts a lot of pressure on LG if they want to keep that top seed now. Even if they split, it's going to go the way of eUnited at this point. So that's a lot of pressure for them. But that sets another day. We still got plenty more games for you, so stick around.
You got me down again. You got me down again.